I'm here to tell you about the greatest puzzle you've never heard of. It's called The Secret, a mysterious book that leads to hidden treasure right here in the United States. But be warned, because once you crack this open, there's no turning back. In 1982, an enterprising publisher named Byron Price buries 12 treasure boxes across the United States and then releases a book filled with cryptic images and verses that reveal clues to their locations. Each box contains a key that can be redeemed for a valuable gemstone. Within a year, 3 teenagers triumphantly unearth the first box in Chicago. But then, the trail goes cold for nearly 2 decades. But in 2004, a second box is discovered in Cleveland. In a tragic turn of events, Byron Price dies in a car accident, taking the locations of the remaining 10 treasures to his grave. But the secret lives on. Thanks to the power of the internet and new technology, several teams of puzzle fanatics are right on the edge of solving the mother of all riddles. And I can't pass up the chance to join them. So get ready to get obsessed as we crisscross the nation and write the next chapter in The Secret. At the foggy docks of Battery Park, I board a nearly empty ferry. Morning. Where I'm meeting the only 2 people who truly know the mind of the puzzle master Byron Price. His daughters. Hello.
Hi.
I'm Josh.
Blair, nice to meet you.
Blair, how are you?
Kara, nice to meet you.
Kara, how are you? This is a super spooky morning
Yeah, sure.
here in New York. You know, I'm knee-deep in your father's puzzle here. Do you think that he would be surprised today to know that people are still looking for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
I think that he thought that people would find it very quickly. I think he thought that the puzzles were like a lot easier than they are.
Right. People get so hung up on the treasure itself. Tell me about the core of the book.
I would say the book is about immigration.
Every puzzle that's in there is representative of a different immigrant group.
Right. While the 12 paintings and poems drive the hunt, the preamble to The Secret gives the treasure a mythological origin. It tells the tale of the Fair people, fairy creatures who left Europe and settled in the New World, where they hid 12 precious treasure boxes. This was Byron Price's heartfelt framing for his one-of-a-kind game.
Yeah, no, honestly, there's no better place to be than Ellis Island, probably,
Right.
to talk about him.
I get it now. No more famous immigrant hub in
Yeah.
America
Yeah.
than right here. Nearly 40% of Americans have a family connection to Ellis Island. Between 1892 and 1958, more than 12 million immigrants journeyed to the Island of Hope, seeking the American dream. And your family came through here, right?
Our dad's dad.
And that's what I think made my dad so sort of obsessed with the immigration story.
The more that I learn about your father, the more I understand that this is really about heritage and with him connecting back to his roots in a way.
Definitely.
Each park and city that Byron hid a treasure in celebrates a different immigrant group. The Irish in Chicago, the German immigrants who helped settle Milwaukee, and here in New York, Jewish immigrants, like the relatives of Byron Price.
This is actually my family.
That's why Kara and Blair have brought me here, because of the personal connection to their father and his own immigrant history. Obviously, his life was tragically cut short. This is now a legacy that lives on.
I think that this book sort of asks his readers to stop and take a second to appreciate your surroundings.
And appreciate where you've come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any doubt in your mind that one of the boxes is here?
So he did say in a very fatherly way, where would Daddy bury a treasure? And so in New York, and of course,
It would be crazy if he didn't bury treasure in New York.
Right. And which illustration do you think is the New York illustration?
the last illustration.
Yeah.
This, you think, leads to the New York box?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the woman in the photo has the face of the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, yeah. She does.
I think the bottom of her dress sort of outlines the shape of Manhattan.
That's really compelling.
He said that for the New York one, where you're standing, where the treasure is buried, you can see all of the features that are in that illustration.
You can see them all from the dig
Yeah,
spot.
from the dig spot in the New York
Really?
one. Yeah.
Okay, that's really intriguing. To do a bit of investigating for the New York box, I'm bidding farewell to Byron's daughters and heading across the water to Wall Street, where some think the clues point to the treasure. The poem portion of the New York puzzle starts off with a doozy of a clue. In the shadow of the gray giant, find the arm that extends over the slender path. Now, the most obvious choice for the gray giant is the Statue of Liberty, but she's obviously green and not gray. This could also be the gray giant, the statue of George Washington, a giant of American history. And we see that Washington's arm is outstretched over Wall Street, and Wall Street is one of the most narrow streets of Lower Manhattan. Look down the slender path, and what do you see at the end? A clock that looks a lot like the clock from the image. Come on. You get down to the end of Wall Street and you find this. This is the Trinity Church, one of the oldest churches in New York City, and very much tied to the next clue in the puzzle. It says the sign nearby speaks of Indy's native. Now, there's only one person that could be. The most famous Indy's native in American history is Alexander Hamilton, who immigrated here from the West Indies. He went on to found the U.S. Treasury. He's the guy on the front of the $10 bill and the star of a Broadway musical that for some reason I still cannot get tickets to. But the point is, there are signs of his name here at the Trinity Church because he's actually buried here in the graveyard. And just beyond is Bowling Green Park, one of the most famous and most historic parks in the city. Bowling Green Park is actually the oldest park in the city. It's also reportedly where the Dutch bought the island of Manhattan from the Native Americans, so it really fits with Byron's immigration theme. And the park also has kind of a V shape, which fits with the next line of the puzzle, which mentions one branch of the V. And then, well, and then it all falls apart. Even though you can see some of the clues from here, you could even see Ellis Island or the Statue of Liberty on a clear day. There's plenty of other things in this poem that don't seem to appear here at all. Before I tackle another puzzle from The Secret, I'm heading to Cleveland to meet the one person who might hold the key to all the puzzles, the book's illustrator, John Jude Palencar.
Josh, how are you?
How are you? Oh, look at this. These are the originals. Look at this. Look at this. These are the originals.
Yes, these are the original paintings.
They're bigger than I expected, and they're beautiful in person. Simple question first. If you could just tell me where the treasures are buried.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'd have to kill you if I.
Oh, okay, I understand. I had to take a crack at it. In the world of fantasy and science fiction, John is a legend. From H.P. Lovecraft to Aragon, he's done covers for the best, but his first big gig was The Secret. In 1981, Byron Preiss traveled to parks around the country, jotting down notes and photographing key landmarks. He would return later, disguised as a maintenance worker, to sneak in and bury the treasure boxes. How would this work? He would send you things?
He would send me a folder, a dossier, if you will. It would contain numerous photographs. There would be a sheet of things that should be included in the painting.
John would receive the pictures and a set of instructions and incorporate them into his paintings. He never saw the burial sites or even Byron's original notes. With Byron's tragic passing, John became the only person with some knowledge of the puzzles. Can you give me any hint as to where any of the remaining boxes are buried?
Beyond signing contracts and say I can't say anything,
Right.
I'm legally bound.
Right.
But I wouldn't tell anybody because, he's my friend.
Yeah. And this is his legacy.
Kind of being loyal.
Exactly. Yeah.
I burned all the photos.
Why?
All his notes, because it wasn't meant to be seen once it was done. Like any good spy, you destroy the evidence.
This is like Watergate. It's been 37 years now?
Don't remind me.
Sorry.
37 years, yeah.
Are you surprised that only 2 of the 12 boxes were found?
I try to figure some of them out, and I can't figure them out. I've read through the verses.
That's crazy. In fact, John would be very pleased if people stopped trying to reach out to him with their pet theories about the puzzles.
I do not know where these treasures are buried. Please stop writing. Please.
Does John know more than he lets on? Perhaps. But I respect his commitment to his friend and to keeping the secret hush-hush.